Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the Tennessee Titans suck. Hey, I'll say this, bro. I do not agree with this title whatsoever. If anything, I think the Titans are very underrated, bro. You know what I'm saying? They've got potentially their franchise guy in Will Levis. They've done a great job at putting talent on their team in the offseason. They brought in Tony Pollard, who will be a great 1-2 punch with Tajay Spears. You know what I'm saying? You already know how good D-Hop is, and he proved that he still got a lot left in the tank. And they brought in Calvin Ridley, who, you know what I'm saying, still played pretty good, even though he didn't play football for 2 years. First, he dealt with family issues, and then the suspension. He still put up over 1,000 yards last year, bro, in his first season back. Then they also brought in Tyler Boyd, who was a great, reliable option coming from Cincinnati. And they also traded for L'Jarius Sneed, who I think is the best cornerback in the league. You know what I'm saying? Then they paid him a massive bag. I feel like they still need to work on the offensive line, but they've done a pretty decent job at putting talent around Will Levis to make sure that he is the franchise guy for them. So let's go ahead and check this out.
The Titans have fallen. This is a completely new era in Tennessee that doesn't involve Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, or even Mike Vrabel. The Titans really hope that Will Levis is their franchise quarterback.
And I feel like the game that really solidified him being their franchise guy was the game against the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Primetime, where they came back. I think they were down like 14 points with like 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Like that was a great game for him.
Just figuring out if
that's when he definitely popped off.
It feels like that AFC Championship run in 2019 was ages ago at this point. But the Titans had a good stretch of making the playoffs for 3 straight years, but it's missed the last 2, and now Vrabel's gone. The Titans hired Brian Callahan to be their next head coach, the son of Bill Callahan, longtime NFL coach, was the head coach of the Raiders at one point. Brian was the Bengals offensive coordinator for 5 years and was the quarterbacks coach for the Raiders and Lions before that. Now he's tasked with trying to develop Will Levis and trying to really figure out the question that we are all wondering: are the Titans any good? Well, that answer is going to have to start with the offense, specifically Will Levis. Will Levis was a guy who was
a very solid offense, bro. I feel like people are not talking about that enough. Like, having 3 veteran receivers on the roster is really good, especially 3 reliable veterans that have been good for like the past several years, my nigga. Especially you know what I'm saying, Tyler Boyd, who has been underrated for a while now. Like, as coming from a Ravens fan, bro, come on now.
He wasn't. They ended up falling all the way out of the first round, and the Titans traded up to the 33rd pick to take him. Tannehill went into the season as the starter, but after an ankle injury, Levis took over. He showed a ton of talent when he was at Kentucky. I mean, he had some of those same flashes as a rookie. He finished the season playing in 9 games.
His arm talent is phenomenal, especially the arm strength.
Touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, the jury is still out on Levis. I really don't even know what I think of him at this point. But if he does just completely suck or get hurt, the Titans do have a pretty good backup plan, which is Mason Rudolph. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Steelers a long time ago. Got a chance to start pretty early in his NFL career, and he wasn't too great. Now he can kind of help Levis navigate through something that he's already been through. Obviously, the one biggest thing when it comes to just making sure Levis can be good is the pieces around him. It really helps that DeAndre Hopkins is back with some familiarity with each other now. We all know how good D-Hop has been in his career. Even if he isn't the same beast he was at another point. He was incredible in Houston, obviously. When healthy, he was really good in Arizona too. And then after being released after the 2022 season, Hopkins signed a 2-year deal worth $26 million with the Titans. Tennessee's usually where washed up receivers go to die. Randy Moss, Andre
Julio
Jones. Going into last season, it was kind of the worry that D-Hop was going to be the next name added to that list, but he played surprisingly well, at least for a 31-year-old with a pretty messy quarterback situation. He finished the year with 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns on 75 receptions. Now he should have a solid wide receiver 2 next to him, Calvin Ridley. In 2020, Ridley had the best year of his career. He had 90 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns, and unfortunately, that's been his peak. The next season, he stepped away from football for mental health matters. In 2022, he was suspended for betting on the NFL, and then the Jags actually sent a 6th and 4th round pick to Atlanta for Ridley. The NFL reinstated him, and people had some really, really high expectations for him and Trevor Lawrence last season.
You can't, like, I understand y'all had like the high expectations, but you can't really have high expectations for a guy who didn't play football for the past 2 years, bro. Like, you can expect him to be pretty good, but for him to be back at that 1,400-yard level that he was in Atlanta, that's a little too much to ask for.
I think they were very high. It was a little unfair, and they didn't live up to it. Ridley was still good. He had 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns on 76 receptions. He played well, but not really to the tune that we had all kind of hoped or expected.
Yeah, he was just
Now
knocking off
he's at
Russ, I
Tennessee
feel like.
on a $96 million deal over 4 years, which I think is pretty generous. The Titans did also sign Tyler Boyd this offseason. For the last 8 years, he's really been just the most consistent piece on the Bengals receiving core. Over the last 4 years, he's been about a 700 to 800 yard receiver each year. It is clear that he's starting to decline a little bit, but he should be a good wide receiver 3, which is where I think he's going to end up. Also, if it helps, Treylon Burks is still there. He was the guy Tennessee got with the first round.
I feel like Burks is definitely going to be gone, bro. Because why would you bring in Tyler Boyd if Burks, you know what I'm saying? If you have faith in Treylon Burks, why bring in another veteran receiver, bro? I feel like he might go to the Chiefs. I feel like I've heard rumors about him being traded to the Chiefs, but I feel like that's probably the best fit for him right now.
Pick after trading away AJ Brown,
especially what's going on with Rashee Rice.
In 2 years, he's only played 22 games. He has 49 receptions, 700 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then at tight end, Chig Okonkwo is entering his 3rd season. Over the last 2 years, Okonkwo has caught 86 passes for almost 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. Other than Ridley, the really big signing this offseason for the offense was Tony Pollard. He got a solid 3-year, $24 million contract after the pretty big loss of Derrick Henry, who's now with the Ravens. In Pollard's first 4 years in the league, he showed a lot of talent, but he was just stuck behind Ezekiel Elliott. Then in 2022, with Zeke still there, he ran for over 1,000 yards, he had 9 touchdowns, and after the season, Zeke left. Pollard got his chance to show that he could be the guy, get really unleashed, and we all thought he could be really good. And he didn't necessarily do that. Statistically, he declined from the year before. He had 1,000 yards again, 6 touchdowns, and that came on 60 more carries than he had the year before. Now, by no means was he bad, but he was underwhelming. He'll probably be the starter now in Tennessee, but the Titans do also have Tyjae Spears, who had 450 yards as a rookie last year. Then there's the offensive line that the Titans have very clearly tried to improve. For the past 2 years, J.C. Latham started at offensive tackle for Alabama.
Yeah, Latham was a big pickup for them. Roll Tide, man.
And with the 7th pick in the draft, the Titans took him. It's actually the 2nd straight year the Titans have drafted an O-lineman in the 1st round. Last year, they took Northwestern guard Peter Skoronski 11th. He started in 14 games last season. The Titans did sign Lloyd Cushenberry this offseason to help in the trenches. He's just been a solid center. He's one of the most experienced guys on the Titans line, even though he's only going into his 5th year in the league. Then on the right side of the line, Tennessee's bringing back their starting right guard and right tackle from last year, Daniel Brunskill and Dylan Radins. Overall, the Titans offense is
I thought it was Radons.
Probably
that's how you
five
pronounce
unit
it
in the league, and it's the exact same case with their defense. The big move for the Titans defense,
Jarius Sneed, that was huge right there for them. And I feel like he might be able to help Caleb Farley become what we all thought he was going to be when they drafted him in the 1st round, be one of the best corners in the league. So with Sneed being there, you know what I'm saying, I feel like that's going to help them a lot, especially with them losing Christian Fulton in free agency as well. So hopefully Sneed can help Caleb Farley. You know what I'm saying? Finally find his groove in the NFL.
$76.4 million deal. He's been a great corner as of late. He should really, really help the defense, but it's still just not a great unit. Opposite Sneed is going to be probably Chidobe Awuzie. He actually lost his starting job with the Bengals last year. He did eventually get it back, but only because of injuries. Then the safeties are going to be some familiar faces. Amani Hooker going into year 6 in Tennessee, and Elijah Molden going into year 4. The linebacker core has Harold Landry and Jack Gibbons returning.
Landry is really underrated too.
In their career, Arden Keys coming back after spending last season in Tennessee. So the only new starter at linebacker is really just going to be Kenneth Murray Jr. He's been in LA with the Chargers for the past 4 seasons on his rookie deal, and he was actually
Arden Keys is definitely slept on. He's a consistent pass rusher.
Who
I feel like
with Murray on the Chargers, and he was last on the Niners at the end of last season. Then the big name returner on maybe the entire defense is Jeffrey Simmons. 2019 first round pick. He has 21 and a half sacks over the last 3 seasons. He's been really good. And now there's a new guy that we think could really turn into something special. And really the most interesting player I'm excited to watch in Tennessee this year is definitely T'Vondre Sweat. He was just taken in the second round, and he was fantastic.
Bro, him and
He was
Jeffrey
a game
Simmons
breaker
is going to
at
be a
Texas.
problem.
He was the Big 12 Player of the Year last season, an All-American. Sweat's one of those pieces like Levis or Ridley that the Titans just really need to perform well if they're going to have a decent season. I do think the Titans finish last in the AFC South. I'm just not overly excited about this team, even if
That's fair enough.
I think the season's going to just go fine at best. I think the Texans have really taken over
because they are in a very competitive
but I even
division
like
right
the Jags
now.
and the Colts just be better than the Titans for now. I have Tennessee going 5-12, going 2-4 in the division, splitting with the Colts and splitting with the Texans, winning that.
I'll say
late
7-10 for them.
Game. It just isn't a very exciting team, unfortunately. I don't expect too much from them, but I am really excited to just see what Lil Levis can do, what he can become. I am pretty low on Tennessee. I had them winning 5 or 6 games in my predictions before I kind of landed on 5, but Darren's even lower on him. He has the Titans going 4-13, which I can definitely see. He hasn't getting swept by all 3 division opponents. Luckily, they have some easier matchups this year. They play Chicago, New England, Washington, who obviously just
did he really just say Chicago's an easy matchup? Nigga, have you seen their fucking offense? Like, come on now.
Top 3 picks, even throw in the Vikings.
That's not an easy matchup.
Expect to be too good. It's just very hard to be optimistic about this Titans team. I hate to say
I
it,
can see where they're
I think
coming
it's gonna
from,
be
but
a long
I have faith in
season.
them
I
to
hope
be
Will
pretty
Levis is
decent
good,
this
but
year.
Even if he is, I don't think this team is set up to win very soon.
Hey man, what do you guys think, bro? I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notification and notify whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 200 subs, so we get there for more banger NFL content like this. And without further ado, I'm out. Gang!